Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on NICOMSAT. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu says the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, committed to upholding good governance and combating terrorism. He stated this in Beijing, China, while addressing a high-level meeting on peace and security at the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. President Tinubu reiterated Nigerians' commitment to promoting peace and security across West Africa, commending China's contribution to Africans' development through initiatives like the Belt and the Road and Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. Tinubu highlighted the importance of confronting the root of conflicts such as poverty, inequality, and social injustice, emphasizing that true peace is not just the absence of war, but the presence of justice, equity, economic opportunity, and human security. Imo State Governor and Chairman Progressive Governors Forum Hope Uzodinma has advocated a political ideology to sustain democracy in Nigeria. Governor Uzodinma made the call at the unveiling of the Progressive Institute of the All Progressive Congress in Abuja. He says the Progressive Institute will play a crucial role in analyzing policy proposals. Kikelomo Okere was there for Global Television. A report.
Speaking to State House correspondents shortly after the meeting with the President, Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Livestock Reform, Professor Atairu Jega, says the committee was able to identify measures on how Nigerian government can judiciously utilize livestock industry in Nigeria. He revealed that 152-page document submitted to President Tinubu recommends measures that the government can use to mitigate the farmers-herders clashes across the country. He noted that both ranching and open grazing can coexist in short term until there is enough awareness and adequate infrastructure that will enhance the adoption of full
Circulating that it has provided a large sum of money to some notorious bandit leaders under the pretext of reconciliation and allowing the state government to carry out mining activities. Secretary to the state government, Abubakar Nakawada, made this known while addressing newsmen in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital. Let's quickly go on a very quick break. Midday News returns shortly. Stay tuned. You're welcome back to Midday News on Global Television. Now, security operatives on Saturday morning were strict in carrying out the non-movement order by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, as the Edo State governorship election kicked off. The presence of the combined team of the men of the Nigerian Police and Nigerian Army was seen on major streets of Benin on a Kenwon road. The security personnel turned some vehicles while the ones occupied by journalists were scrutinized before they were allowed to move. The federal government has promised to continue its support and intervention in the education of special need learners to break the barriers to quality education in the country. This was known by the Executive Secretary of Universal Basic Education Commission, Dr. Hamid Boboye, in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital. Addressing participants at the workshop, Boboye disclosed that 2% of the federal government consolidated revenue fund dedicated as an intervention fund for the implementation of the UBE program as allocated to special needs education. Nigeria has issued a strong condemnation following a terrorist attack in Bamako, Mali, which targeted a military airport and training center, resulting in multiple casualties and destruction of several military aircraft. In a statement released, the spokesman of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Eche Abu Obe, referred to the attack as abominable and highlighted the persistent threat posed by extremist groups in the region. The federal government extended its condolences to the Malian authorities and the families of those affected, emphasizing that our thoughts and prayers are with the victims of this tragic incident. Still on the news, Arawa Youth Consultative Forum has called for the resignation of Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal over his recent allegations against the Minister of State for Defense, Bele Matawale. Lawal, during a television program, had asked Matawale to step aside and clear his name on allegations of sponsoring bandits as well as money laundering, while he served as a governor of the state. Reacting to Lawal's outburst, the AYCF said the governor not Matawale should resign, given the alarming evidence that emerged of his involvement in financing terror groups operating within the region. As warnings from the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency about imminent flooding intensifies, there is growing concern over the safety of residents in Kogi, Benue, and other high-risk states. Despite advisories from the federal government, many remain reluctant to evacuate. The NIHSA has highlighted these states as particularly susceptible to flooding, urging residents to heed the call for evacuation. The executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, handed over €5,100 proceeds of crime to the Spanish ambassador to Nigeria, Jean Ignacio Cel. The sum was recovered from a Nigerian romance fraudster for a Spanish victim, Hans Usman, for the EFCC in collaboration with the Spanish police. In a statement by the EFCC's head of media and publicity, Dele Oyewale, the EFCC chairman said that the resources controlled by criminals worldwide outstrip the wealth of technology industry. The troops of Operation Safe Haven in Plateau State again arrested 2 more gun runners while negotiating to sell ammunition amounting to 5 million naira in the Bokos local government area of the state. This came barely 72 hours after the troops arrested 5 notorious gun runners at Bayamani community along Bauchi Road in Just North local government area of the state, leading to recovery of automatic weapons and about 6,000 rounds of assorted ammunition. In a statement, the spokesman for Operation Safe Haven, Major Samson Zokom, says the latest gun runners were arrested at the hotel in Boko's local government of the state and were taken into custody. The defense headquarters said troops killed no fewer than 159 terrorists and arrested 174 suspects during the operation conducted in the last 1 week. The operations also led to the rescue of 188 persons kidnapped by non-state actors across the country. The Director of Media Operations, Major General Buba Edward, disclosed this in a statement. He added that troops recovered 151 assorted weapons and 12,401 assorted ammunition during the period under review. You're watching Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. And if you're just tuning in, it's Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live on the Midday in Nigeria. Thank you for staying with us. Moving on in the news now on the business desk, the Kano State government is partnering with the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change to attract $23.5 million worth of investment and wealth creation in the energy sector. The initiative, spearheaded by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, focuses on reforming energy supply to drive industrialization and economic growth in the state. The plan is part of Governor's effort to energize Kano's economy at the 18th Executive Council meeting held at the Government House. Governor Yusuf received the conceptual framework for the KICS program, which aims to stimulate economic growth through energy reforms. The federal government has shut down the Echo Bridge and ramps for 8 weeks to resurface the essential asphalt. The Federal Comptroller of Works, Lagos Olukorede Kesha, made this known in a statement in Lagos. Kesha added that the closure would take effect from Friday, September 20th to Wednesday, November 20th. The federal government is set to achieve over 60% savings in diesel costs following the successful retrofitting of train locomotive to operate on a dual-fuel system. The Minister of Transportation, Seidu Alkali, expressed his satisfaction with the test run and statement sent by the ministry. At the Amina J. Mohammed train station, Abuja, the minister led the demonstration of the locomotive capabilities along the Abuja-Kaduna rail corridor. And on our foreign decks, the U.S. Secret Service outlined multiple failures revealed in its review of the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump at a rally in July. Shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks managed to open fire from a nearby rooftop during the outdoor event hosted by Republican candidate Trump, who narrowly escaped death but sustained an injury in his right ear. The review identified deficiencies in the advance planning and its implementation, Acting Director Ronald Rowe Jr. said at a press briefing. While some members of the advance teams were very diligent, there was complicity on the part of others that led to the breach of security protocols. Cash-strapped Sri Lanka is voting for its next president on Saturday in an effective referendum on an unpopular International Monetary Fund asset plan enacted after the island nation's unprecedented financial crisis. President Ranil Wickremesinghe is fighting an uphill battle for a fresh mandate to continue belt-tightening measures that stabilized the economic and ended months of food, fuel, and medicine shortages. His 2-year in office restored calm to the streets after civil unrest swept by the downturn in 2022 saw thousands storm the compound of his predecessor, who promptly fled the country. In a significant statement reinforcing Saudi Arabia's long-standing stance on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has declared that the kingdom would not establish diplomatic relations with Israel until an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital is realized. The statement was delivered during an inauguration of the 9th session of the Shura Council on behalf of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Arabia's firm rejection and strong condemnation of the Israeli occupation authority crimes against the Palestinian people, which violently violate international and humanitarian law, adding to their long and bitter suffering. In sports, former Nigerian skipper Mikel Obi has commended Ademola Lookman for choosing Nigeria over England for his senior international football, while praising the Atlanta forward at ESPN for making the decision early in his career. The Chelsea legend once again took a swipe at some players born outside Nigeria for delaying the decision until they have been completely overlooked by their country of birth in the twilight of their career. The Nigerian women rugby team, the Green Falcons, look to calm the scalp of Kenya the second time in 4 days when they lock horns in the second in a 2-match series for a spot in the 2025 World Series at the Impala Stadium, Nairobi. Nigerians made history by charging to a 22-14 win over Kenya in the first leg of the first ever MEA Women's Rugby League World Cup qualifiers at the same venue. Newly appointed Nigerian coach Bolu Fagboron excluded much confidence heading into the encounter. His charges left no margin for premonitions going to the decision clash on Sunday. And that's it on Midday News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276 and free to air on NICOM site. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms by using the Global TV engine and the handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.